According to American Heart Association, 70% of American adults are obese. There are about 35 adults in this room, so according to American Heart Association, that would mean 24 of the adults in this room are obese and overweight. And even if you aren't obese or overweight, you still might not have healthy eating habits. By age 18, early forms of heart disease can start to form. Heart disease can be reversed by eating healthy, and it's our #1 killer in America. I know we have all heard, eat healthy and exercise, and most of us still make the decisions not to. And I'm not here saying go vegan, become a gym rat, but I would look at some of your life choices and decide if you want to continue to make them. To give some background information of where I'm getting all my information from, I am taking a new nutrition class this semester. I'm going to tell you about macronutrients, food labels, and a flexible diet. So the American diet, Americans eat the Western diet, which consists of a lot of red meat, fried food, high sugar, low amounts of fruits and vegetables, and fiber. This Western diet has spread to other parts of the world, which has also increased worldwide obesity. There are 3 types of macronutrients I'm going to talk about. The first type is proteins. So all types of proteins, no matter what kind of protein, it's all going to have 4 calories per gram. So a big part of the Western diet is made up of meat. A lot of people think you have to eat a whole bunch of meat, you have to grow strong and healthy for young boys, and that's how you're going to make them grow. This is completely wrong. Everybody's portions of meat should be about the size of their palm. That's it. That's all the meat you should be eating for a day. To figure out how much protein you should be eating, you need to find your weight in kilograms, then multiply that by 0.8. So protein helps in the body to make hair, nails, tissues, gives energy, and a whole bunch of other functions. When the body has excess protein that it doesn't need, that means all the functions are complete, everything's good, there's no use for this protein that you've consumed, it gets converted straight to fat. Protein can also come from many other sources that's not just meat. 1 can of beans contains 6 grams of protein. A half cup of tofu contains about 8 grams of protein. 1 cup of pistachios contains 25 grams of protein. Plant-based proteins and animal-based proteins both have all the essential amino acids that you need in your diet. Animal-based proteins are easier for the body to digest, but plant-based proteins will do just fine. Plant-based proteins will actually decrease your risk for chronic diseases. So the second type of macronutrients I'm going to talk about is carbohydrates. So all carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. So there's a myth that carbohydrates are bad. I've seen a lot of diets out there that have high protein, low carb diets. And this is wrong because carbs should be consumed in moderation. In the body, carbs are needed to form glucose in the blood and used as the main source of energy. There are two types of carbs. The first is refined carbs, and this is the processed carbs that most people should stay clear of. These carbs have a lot of added sugar, a lot of processing done to them, and an example of this would be goldfish and white bread. Unrefined carbs are the carbs that people should consume, but in moderation still. These are the carbs that are good for you. They have a lot of fiber and other nutrients that get taken out of refined carbs. An example of this is whole grains. So a person's diet should contain, out of their total calories, 45 to 65% of the total calories should be from carbs. The third type of macronutrients I'm going to talk about is fat. Fat is different than carbohydrates and proteins because it has 9 calories per gram. And people think all fats are bad for you. This is very false. Our body actually needs about 20 to 35% of our total calories to come from fats. There are 2 types of fats. There's saturated and unsaturated fats. Saturated fats are the unhealthy kind. These are the kind that will lead to heart disease and other illnesses like strokes. These are found in red meat, fried food, muffins, butters, margarine, any of those that are solid at room temperature. Unsaturated fats are actually the healthy kinds of fats. These fats will actually reverse heart disease and other kinds of diseases like strokes. These are found in avocados, nuts, and oils, but not coconut oil. Coconut oil is actually a saturated fat and is very unhealthy for you. So now I'm going to talk about food labels. Food labels, we've all seen fat-free and low-fat food labels, but are they actually any healthier than the real food? Let's take goldfish, for example. If you have fat-free goldfish and regular goldfish, if you look at the back of the food labels, you'd expect the fat-free to be healthier, but in actuality, the real goldfish are healthier. This is because, yes, they do take out fats, but they have to make it taste just as good as the regular food. So they add in a whole bunch of added sugar, which actually increases the calories. And fats, our body at least needs fats. Our body does not need sugar at all. So sugar is super bad for the body. And this is the same with gluten-free foods. So if you're not actually gluten, I would suggest to not eat gluten-free foods because they have a whole bunch of added sugars in it. So sugar is the main cause of obesity. One soda has more sugar than you should consume for a whole day. In 1970, the government made it so fat in the food was decreased, and by doing this, the food companies added a whole bunch of sugars to it. And since 1970, when they started adding a whole bunch of sugars, obesity has also skyrocketed. So I'm going to tell you a story about my parents' friend, Patty. She was 53 years old, and she died in November from a heart attack. She has 3 kids. The youngest was 20 and 2 grandkids that she left behind. She was overweight, but she went on a whole bunch of extreme diets and workout plans to try to manage her weight, but they all in the end just never worked out. She had heart attack symptoms leading up to the heart attack, like heartburn and aching lower back, but didn't go to the doctor because she didn't think anything of it. So she left behind a lot of people that cared about her and loved her. And Patty is just one of 1,671 people that die every single day from heart disease. So I'm going to talk about the vegan diet and flexible diets. So the vegan diet is no meat or dairy or pretty much anything that comes from an animal, no cream cheese, no cottage cheese, no nothing. This type of diet decreases chronic diseases, lowers weight, and makes people feel better, and feel better as in less bloated, sleep better, and have more confidence in the way they look. So people on this diet eat a lot of nuts, beans, tofus, fruits, and vegetables. I have been on a vegan flexible diet to where 95% of the meals I eat are vegan, but I do have cheat days when I go have some sushi, go have some brownie or something, something where I can cheat and satisfy myself mentally. So a flexible diet is something that I'd recommend. You don't have to do a vegan flexible diet. You can do anything. A flexible diet is good because you can personalize it to yourself and your body type and the food that you feel comfortable eating and the food that you could change in your life. Like, let's say instead of having half your plate full of meat, maybe just change it to a quarter of your plate, add some vegetables in there, just mix it up a little bit. So a flexible diet still allows you to treat yourself in moderation, and I'd suggest this over the extreme diets because cutting cold turkey, going on to an extreme diet won't last you that long, and this one can fit your lifestyle. So if you take anything away from this speech, is that this is a serious problem in the U.S. and it can cost you your life. Making just small changes in your diets will help you in the long run tremendously. Like, instead of having your plate full of meat, maybe add a few vegetables in there. Just think, all these small changes could save your life in the long run. Could add 10 years to your life so you could see your future kids' wedding or watch your grandkids grow up. I know we all think we're young and invincible now, but in 10 to 15 years, we'll be wishing we had made these changes. Thank you.